I'm kind of hearing down on what you said कि जब भी balance sheet या plan pitch करना है, USP होना चाहिए आपके business में number 1. दूसरा uniqueness होना चाहिए number 2 idea में. Number 3, you should differentiate against your competitors. You should have figures, homework on your competitors. Fourth, ये सोच के रखें कि अगले 5 साल में आपका revenue model क्या होने वाला है. If you're sure about. And fifth is a healthy balance sheet. अगर ये 5 चीजें आपके पास हैं और आप बहुत पैशनेट हैं अपने बिजनेस को लेके, तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि फंडिंग में कोई आपको रोक सकता है. यू आर रेडी. सो ये जब तैयारी करनी फंडिंग की, यू नीड टू बी, आई थिंक फॉर द फर्स्ट ईयर, वो कहते हैं कि शुरू में 2 साल सबसे मुश्किल है. 1-1.5 साल 2 साल अगर आप सर्वाइव कर गए, nobody, you'll just take off. That is my experience.
And also, Deepa, I want to tell one more thing, that funding should not be the criteria for your business. I mean, अगर आप sustainable model पे, and I'm using this word quite often, right? अगर आपका business ऐसा है जो you are able to sustain, you are able to make profit, there may be a situation where you may not be getting funding, right? But it is not a stamp that you are a bad entrepreneur. You should not lose heart, right? You should have your 5-year projection model, which will include your balance sheet, your cash flow projections for month on month for at least 2 years. And after that, quarter on quarter, you should have your P&L, you should have your assumptions, as I just said, that what is your market, what are you catering to, so that every number is linked to each other. And also you should know what are your sources of raising fund. You may raise half as a debt, half as equity. How you want to do that. You should have your unit economics. Like if someone asks you what is the unit economics, what are your gross margins, you should know these are the numbers which should be on your tips. What is your CAC? CAC technically means a customer acquisition cost. कि भैया अगर मुझे customer acquire करना है तो मेरे को कितना रुपया लगता है वो करने के लिए, जिसमें आप फिर सब ऐड करोगे कि भाई मेरे को एक सेल्स पर्सन लगता है. And you should see that it is declining over a period of time on month on month, because that's how you have become popular, right? It's kind of a branding marketing exercise for you.
Prachi, बहुत सारी ladies जिनको मैं मिली हूँ, there are thousands of women that we have met in this journey. They are छोटा, small business. They start small. एक $1 million revenue, डॉलर भी नहीं, आप बोलो कि जी 1 करोड़ का टर्नओवर है, ऐसे मतलब छोटे-छोटे प्लेस है, 2 करोड़ का टर्नओवर है. अगर ये स्केल करना चाहते हैं, we understand it gets to structured scaling when you say that they should be matured, companies with good. What is your suggestion to them? They just sprouted, 1 साल हुआ है, 1 करोड़ का टर्नओवर या 1.5 करोड़ का टर्नओवर है. आप क्या सजेस्ट करेंगे उनके लिए? What is your suggestion that how should they raise funds? Crowdfunding is the best way forward, or what do you think? Or should they collateral loans against collateral? If you go to the bank way, what is this thing? PE is the word.
Right. So if you have kind of a unique, I'll again come back to a differentiation, unique selling proposition, innovation in your company, because अगर 1 साल में 1.5 करोड़ हो गया है तो कुछ तो innovation होगा, नहीं तो companies can't grow at this pace, right? So if that is the scenario, I request you to reach out to angel and VC, because they would happy to know about your product and invest in you. However, if you're a company which is kind of a cookie cutter, it's kind of any companies, right? And there's nothing innovation, nothing which is happening. But this is something which is your passion, right? Something which is your baby. So you continue working on it, take loans from the, because VC will not going to give funding to these kinds of companies. Please understand that, right? So then what you can do is friends, family, relatives. Then secondly, I think it's debt. Go out and take that 10, 15 lakhs of loans. If you have the possibility of getting, loans against collaterals, please do that. So I think these are the two scenarios I would kind of bifurcate, that every business is not VC fundable. I'm trying to make myself pretty clear कि हर business नहीं हो पाता है VC fundable. अगर वो commodity business है तो वो VC fundable नहीं होगा.
I get it. एक quote मैं अपनी बहुत all sisters and IWIL family की तरफ से, there's a quote that I want to say. Ayn Rand says, if you guys are listening to me, he says, the question isn't who is going to let me, it is who is going to stop me. Now that is the spirit when we say passionate woman की रोकेगा कौन हमें.
Absolutely.
अब जिन्होंने भी आज सुनी ये वर्कशॉप, हम चाहेंगे कि IWIL India से जुड़े हैं आप. And we, as she said, incubate, accelerate, and there's so many other classes. We'll educate and keep ideating on your behalf. I don't know how many of you who are listening to me, I see a lot of people who are listening to me, but then there's this, COVID has really tested us. One of the biggest challenge the entrepreneurial ecosystem, and that goes same for women entrepreneurs, is faces a capital crunch. When I say I have a startup, and I want to scale it across, go to maybe international geographies or maybe go to regional geographies, maybe do something worthwhile. Capital crunch is a major issue. So in that
Right.
case, for me, this workshop, I'll come to the core area why we have organized this workshop is that how should I raise funds for my business? That is number one, biggest challenge for women entrepreneurs. How should
Right.
I bring scale? So my first question as a basic masterclass enablement to you, Prachi, is that uh, what is the basic formats of funding and how do you generate funds in which forms, whether it's private equity or whether it's government oriented? Give us some guidance as basics,
Right.
as common. Yeah.
Right. So I think a very valid point as to, I mean, I will pick up this question in two parts. One is COVID related. I'll take that later. I'll take the second part first, which primarily what are the sources of fund for entrepreneurs and especially for women entrepreneurs. So I will divide that sources of funding primarily into three sources. One is family and friends. Second is
Mhm.
debt source of funding, and third is equity. And I'll take them one by one.
Maybe please, all yours. Your first question. Thank
Yeah,
you.
absolutely. Komal Mishra has asked, like, she's a beginner entrepreneur and she's been facing funding challenge. So she wants a suggestion on it.
Funding challenges implies, I mean, if you can just be more clearer on that, because everybody is facing funding challenges, to be very frank. So I think, Garima, you said, right?
Komal.
Komal. Komal, I think everybody is facing that challenge. So what you can actually do is, equity is something which is like, there was a time when VCs have just stopped funding, but now they are again coming back. I mean, the funding is starting off. But in order to meet your working capital requirement, right, which I think is the basic need for everyone during COVID, that how should I manage my working capital so that I can sustain? Because you need cash, right? So what I would suggest is you can go to SIDBI website. There are a lot of schemes which has come up to provide working capital, to provide, if you are into a business which is pivoted and doing something related to COVID. So something like you're making a mask, PPE, telemedicine, doing something related to COVID. If your product is something related to COVID, then there is kind of schemes for that. Then there are schemes called Safe Plus. There are schemes for working capital. There's scheme for capital. So there are a lot of schemes which SIDBI has come up